everyone, welcome to the Innovator Coffee, a podcast that bridges the gap between the people and the world of AI and innovation. Follow us to explore the top AI applications, ecosystem insights, and the emerging trends. Today, we are very honored to have Steve in our show. Welcome. My name is Steven Wang. I'm the Innovator Coffee podcast host today. Hey, Steve, do you want to make a quick introduction about yourself?
Thank you very much, Vicky. Hello, everyone, the audience of Innovation Coffee podcast. My name is Steven Wang. I'm based in Milan, Italy, and I have been working in the financial industry for 14 years. 12 years in a commercial bank, international commercial bank, and then 2 years in an industrial machinery company, which I was in charge of the financing activities in Europe. And now I am the host of Steven Data Talk. This is an English version of my podcast. So basically, I have English and also Chinese podcast.
Hey, Steve, since you're the first people from Europe, and help us to understand better on AI side, maybe we can start with some questions about how European people look at AI at the moment, right? So tell us something about how you start your AI-related journey and how does people in Europe currently think about AI?
Thank you. About my journey regarding AI, actually, during my 14 years financial industry experience, I always tried to improve and optimize the system and try to think some innovative methods to actually make my work better and more efficient. And so after leaving the financial industry, I actually got to study my second master in University of Milan, which is about data science and economics. Half of the course is about AI. So basically, I think I'm now in a very natural transition. So about the perception of AI in Europe, I think in general, it's quite divided. I will just give you a startup founder in Europe who was complaining about the limited data center resources, like the computer support for his startup idea, and he also applied for some support regarding the computer from the European Commission, but was not lucky enough to get the support. So there are some complaints about the current infrastructure to support the AI innovation and startup and so on. So this is just one observation. Another observation is in France, Germany, and the UK, there are more funds and there are more talents. And the third thing is that the legal environment in Europe is just going to make the lawyers super rich. We have the AI Act, we have the GDPR, so everybody who is going to innovate in the AI arena, they have to face different legal issues. So maybe the AI applications in the law area, in the legislative area could be promising, but it could be burden for other startup founders. Consider about investment and R&D. Europe could be considered as a single market like a European Union. But there is a big gap between the scale of EU in general and the US. The perception of the environment in EU is like the legislative environment is not very encouraging the innovation. The infrastructure is very relatively weak, and there are some gaps between EU and US. These are both some of the observations I saw and also my understanding.
As I also doing the security and compliance, right? We actually look at Europe like a pioneer. They always have the earliest regulation and the laws, including the privacy and also some lot of cybersecurity rules and framework as well. But it's very interesting to say from startup piece. They're talking about the quite good work-life balance for the startup ecosystem. Even the entrepreneur, they have some regulation to regulate how much works they need to do per week. Is it true?
Yeah, I think in general this is true. The work-life balance is like there was a saying the economic development of Europe was in the 90s and 2000s, and it was a peak, like many of the European old companies. The old money was quite having a good time during early years. But in recent years, I think there are more regulations, especially also about the HR part, about the hiring and employment and so on. So also the owner of a company cannot allow so many overtime per se. So like I was working in a bank in Italy, so the legislation was quite strict, so everybody has to follow. This is from the legal part. From the cultural part, I think everybody is super relaxed. At least in Italy, we have the food, we have the mountain, we have the sunshine, we have the beach. Why do we bother to work too hard? And it's like, why not plan for many years ahead instead of just finish the job in 1 week? I think it's kind of a general mindset in Italy. But recently, I have seen one Milan startup who was recruiting founding engineer. In their announcement, they said that we are not like the usual enterprise. You have to work hard like the San Francisco style. Then I immediately noticed that there might be some change. But in general, I mean, the work-life balance is more important here.
Cool. Nowadays, we're talking about the AI bubble a lot in the US, right? I guess in Europe, it may have similar discussion. So I'd like to have a quick discussion with you, see how you see this topic from European standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, about AI bubble, it's a very large and interesting topic. I think it's quite a good analogy. There was a movie made by Tom Cruise about the AI vs humanity and so on. So I think it actually, there are some cinematic rendering inside, but it actually reflects some of the perceptions of people, right? If you don't work in AI, sometimes you think there are two scenarios. Either you're like, oh, AI is so useful, or AI is going to make us all out of work, right? But now both scenarios do not happen yet, right? So I think AI is a big topic. Like related to AI, we have machine learning, reinforcement learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and so on. I would not say in general is a bubble, because in many areas it is still in the process of exploration, rather than, okay, we is just our output, so there are too many money in it and it is overpriced. Maybe not. It is a big topic. We can dive deeper in different areas. AI is not just like a useful chatbot of ChatGPT or Claude and so on. So when I actually look at technology, or look at the performance of a company, a financial market, use first principle to understand it from the root up, understand the basics, and see if it is, like if we talk about the bubble, if this asset is overpriced or underpriced. I think we are going to get a conclusion. There is one observation, like one of the friends went to the many AI conference in San Francisco recently. He noticed that now the VCs are quite more conservative to offer fundings like previous weeks. So I mean, there might be a bit of over investment per se. From this perspective, but if you consider now we are just in the beginning of the research, beginning of the AI era, I think the investment should keep on going.
Well, yeah, very interesting idea. I do agree with you. Like at this moment, for different part of AI, they have different progress. Some of those do have a lot of bubble going on, and some of those it's still under the development. If we are looking at the model part, so far the big hats already exist, right? We can see there's OpenAI, Anthropic, and also Google there, and Meta try to keep up. Also in Europe, there's one start with M. I guess you know that one. It's kind of like the landscape is there already. If you still try to work on the large language model or something, it's very hard to step into the picture at this moment. Maybe some of the small vertical, they do still have chance, but the generalized model, I don't see there's a big opportunity there. From the application layer, I look at the McKinsey report and also the MIT report. It seems like the corporate adoption currently still has a lot of challenge. Even though we have a lot of innovations, only certain vertical can show the strong tractions, such as coding company and the law service, and some of the technology one, like the the visual one, or like text to video, audio stuff, right? But as I also say, there are some like a search company has great tractions. But other area, I think people still try to say where's the gap between the technology usage and the corporate adoption. And then, however, I do see there's a lot of opportunities on the AI infrastructure side. The reason is because in the past, for the data center, in the past, it is totally different from the current data center shortage, which is largely support on the AI development. If you see the current data center, and you also mentioned in Europe, the data center has shortage as well, right? In the past, the data center is so different from the data center we're talking about now. We're talking about the AI factory, right? All the slack, including the CPU and all those components, they're so different. So I do say there's a big opportunity on this area. So as what you mentioned, overall, I do not call it as a bubble, but some area has less opportunity than other area for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, please.
Yeah, we also look at the quota report. Actually, if you see the current stock index actually has a less PE ratio compared to the big bubble time at the .com. So people are saying like, yeah, the economy may have some concern, but there is still room if you are talking about bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Like you mentioned, the PE ratio and the financial indicators, I think it makes me think one analogy is like we try to measure some phenomena just by like a one-dimensional, max three-dimensional objects. It's like if we see if the price is overpriced, we say bubble or not bubble, right? Very simplified term. But in reality, it's not like that. Just like you just said, like the AI chips, there are a lot of rooms to grow. Although we see now they are only the big players, right? Like 1.5 years ago, I already saw like the chip company like Grok, which was quite popular, and they offered some free compute for developers to experiment. I already saw they are going some very vertical market, not like directly competing with the others, like Google have TPU, and also like the other companies like Nvidia have GPUs and so on. And about the chip manufacturing, I mean, is a infrastructure in general per se. It's like a rabbit hole. I mean, recently I have been reading and listening to a lot of stuff. It's super interesting, and it's about the supply chain and so on. Yeah, I think there are opportunities. And also you mentioned about the 2B side, to business, because I was working with some older generation enterprise software and also some new generation software. I'm super aware that there are so many opportunities for startup to work with large enterprises, but it will take time because different industry has different like legal threshold, like the legislative requirements and so on. For example, if you make a banking payment, you cannot let large language model to hallucinate, and you generate some error accounting records. That's very detrimental. Yeah, and you also mentioned I think you also mentioned some point, maybe I do not recall. Yeah, but I think I agree with you.
Yeah, so since you Europe and you talk to a lot of different founders and startups, right? Is there any very interesting one you want to share with us here?
Yeah, of course, the most interesting one was actually, I think, my third episode, because previously I did not organize it like episode 1, episode 2, but I was talking to the AI engineer, chief AI engineer of Convergence AI, Mr. Chen. He is now in San Francisco working on another project. That startup was founded by the former OpenAI engineer, and they were working on the agentic workflow, agent orchestration. The application is like, for example, I use it for my use case. I say, hypothetically, if I'm now trying to hire a financial director for a software company, can you provide me some candidates? It will go to LinkedIn and scrape all the data for me. Okay, so it was quite convenient, and also it can help you do a lot of things. Like if you see the manners is a agentic application, I think it's very popular now. Or if you use computer in your local machine, you can also do that. Yeah, so they were doing that. I thought it was very interesting, and I also see some some companies doing like the Excel plugin. They want to bridge both the VBA programming language to large language model to allow users to bridge the working between the Excel files. Because sometimes if you just type in some formula and link to another file, it is very cumbersome work, and sometimes it may produce erroneous information. Yeah, and also some very interesting projects like the 3D print, use the large language model to understand the human intent and bridge it to 3D printer and print a special size shoe, because there are some minority group like in UK, their shoe, how can I say, it's like adaptability of the normal shoe is not for that kind of person. Okay, so they this kind of workflow to help them to produce the shoe, especially for these minorities. Yeah, and there are still many interesting projects.
So okay, so sounds like there are a lot of fun stuff there as well. Do you say what's driven Europeans' innovation from the AI perspective? Because from here I can see there are a lot of enterprise needs, right? And there are a lot of infrastructure needs, and some of the government also try to have some reinforce or regulation to help on the AI industry, which stimulate the AI industry growth. How about in Europe, right? Does like Europe government also give some good reinforcement, or like or if there's any like industry in the European country try to give also have a lot of needs on this area which help the AI innovation?
Very good question. There are always a lot of supports, but consider the scale is not as US. If I remember, there are some statistics like the AI investments in US. I'm not sure. It's like 68 billion US dollar last in 2024, but in Europe is like 6 billion euro, something like this. But I'm not sure about the exact number. But that is just the difference. It's like a 10x difference. Yeah, but because I was studying for my first master also in the University of Milan, I was studying about the entrepreneurship and the innovation. My professors also introduced us different financing instruments like crowdfunding, like how to get EU funding, get the Italian government funding, and now like a German government, French government, they also have different incentives like to encourage the university students to start to make and get funding. I also see some successful initiatives which they get funding. Yeah, there are always this kind of support. But recently I was talking to one of the German students. He wanted to join a startup. They already get funding, but the issue is that it's like they consider package also consider a part of the salary, but the salary after tax is quite hard to support their daily life, like because he is also a foreign student, right? He needs to rent a house and pay the daily needs and so on. So it is quite hard to support the life, and usually it's like hundreds of thousands of euro per project. Yeah, I also see some successful projects which got funding. I'm not sure about the US. I have not yet investigated about university funding and the government funding and so on. But in general, like the VC and the PE investments, it is in another scale. Because actually, my first master thesis, I was comparing the European market and US market, and I see US VCs and PEs are investing tons of money in startups years ago, in computer science, in life science, and they still got a lot of dry powder there. So dry powder means that they have not yet invested. So after COVID, now they see the AI boom. So it is logical that a lot of money puts into this area. Yeah.
Also, I'm curious, right? In Europe, is it very hard to start up a new do they have like complicated process? Because when I see US here, actually in US it's quite simple, right? You just register and then you make it happen maybe in one day or like a week. You your startup, and the startup ecosystem in Bay Area, which is San Francisco, San Jose, Silicon Valley area, is very, very strong. If you don't have anything, you come here, you can go to the lot of events, talk to people. Maybe after a month or two, you get your co-founder and you meet all of the people, including VC, accelerator. You can easily find your supply chain as well. How about things in Europe? Is it similar?
Recently, I have not yet thought about start a company in that legal form, but consider my previous observation. Technically speaking, the process is similar to other countries, like from Europe to the US. But in general, the government efficiency and the bureaucracy is quite prominent here, because just days ago, I just saw a random post in LinkedIn. The founder in Italy chose to found the company in Switzerland because just one or 2 days, like super fast, they get everything ready, so the process is more efficient. But like in Germany and Italy, there are some additional process. Yeah, but I'm not sure because like in here, if you want to get funding, is super hard because you need to consider a lot of things, especially about legal considerations and so on. I'm not saying that the legal consideration is not a good thing. I mean, in the long term, it could be a good thing. But for the early stage startup, maybe there will be some additional burdens. Yeah. I even considered that maybe one day if some investors would consider my project, I will go back and forth from San Francisco to Milan. Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything you feel like we should cover in this session but we haven't asked?
We need to really take care of the next generation education because the AI is kind of disrupting every aspect of how people interact with information, how people utilize the information. So I think there should be more efforts to actually let people know not only about the fancy part about the AI, also about the risk control, compliance, and so on. I think that there should be more energy and money spent on the education side for the elderly and also the young and also the next generation education.
If you try to recommend one book or one learning resource from your side, what are they? This is like for AI or innovation or even like your general philosophy for your personal life.
This is a very good question. Frankly speaking, I'm not a book person. From the early years to now, I have a lot of books in my bookshelf, but I touch only, 5% or 1% of them. Yeah, really, because especially in the past 1.5 years, I usually learn things like from the YouTube, from some multimedia sources. I think they are more direct, and also if you want to go deeper, you can go to the Stanford AI lectures. Different lectures about deep learning, machine learning, and so on. Recently, I'm reviewing the Stanford startup course, like in almost 10 years ago, which was hosted by Mr. Sam Altman. Yeah, it is quite super interesting. I'm reviewing every lecture of it, writing my little summary.
So if you try to predict about like 1 year or next 5 years about like AI innovation, what can you foresee at this moment?
Yeah, this is a super hard question. I can give you a short answer. Even Ilya Sutskever cannot give you a quick answer. Like Ilya already mentioned, I want to quote that the next paradigm may not be the transformer architecture. The architecture will surely change. It will be a mixture. It kind of reminds of the ensemble algorithm in machine learning. It is like working together and we get one result, or sometimes we call it another algorithm like a majority voting. I'm not sure because it has been some time since I left my lectures. So, but in general, there will be some mixture, like Ilya said before. And also Yellowcon also mentioned that the next paradigm may not be transformer based. It could be something new. And also Dr. Feifei Li also introduced the marble, the application to let you emerge in the 3D world model. It is interesting. Yeah, there are still some very interesting labs which they are doing the research for the small language models. Because whenever we want to put the large language model in the edge devices like our glass and so on, if you really want it to work in that device, you need a very small model. Yeah, there are already some applications in Apple Store and also free. You can just download some open source model to your local device and you can run it.
So I'd like to invite you to have one or two sentences to our audience before we wrap up.
Okay, just like my YouTube channel, the name of my YouTube channel is Learn by Doing with Steven. I think we need some experimentations. So learn by doing is my first sentence. The second sentence is that I'm not sure. Is Latin, is temet noce. I'm not sure if my pronunciation is right, but it is about know yourself. Yeah, it was kind of my motto like from 10 or 20 years ago. I didn't even remember where I saw that sentence, but know yourself so you can go further. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds very good. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for inviting me, Vicky, and looking forward for more collaborations, and also wish you your podcast. Thank you. Bye bye.
That's all for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. We hope it sparked some inspiration for you. If you enjoyed our podcast, please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. You are also welcome to join our WhatsApp listener group to dive deeper into the topics and exchange ideas with others. Bye.